Hello everybody, this is Backblast, and this is a bit of an update really. I wanted to let you know where we're up to with the Chester Zoo project, and it's sort of good news and bad news really. The bad news is I haven't really created anything new since my last videos. There is a good reason for that. I have been very busy with it. So in the last sort of videos you may have seen me doing painted dogs and that sort of thing over here, which is pretty much finished as much as anything else is. I've got a lot of the details in, and I'm quite happy with it. It's turned out quite nicely. I like the area. Unfortunately, the rest of the zoo's taken a step back, and it's taken a step back because all the barriers for all the enclosures have gone. Every single one. All these, you know, no barriers here, no barriers. All the pathways have disappeared, apart from one around the painted dogs because I put that one back in. But all the others are all missing. Everything's missing. And the reason for that is I've started a new map. And what happened was, as I was building the old Chester Zoo, I started building it, and then I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll go to Chester Zoo and have a look round and take some photos and get familiar with the zoo again. I mean, I go quite regular anyway, but I just wanted to sort of refresh my brain, really. So I went, and of course the lion enclosure had moved since the last time I've been. And because I'd already started building my zoo, the lion enclosure wouldn't fit on the map that I had. It just wouldn't fit on. It was one of those things that I would need to restart the game from scratch, completely from scratch, if I wanted to get the lion enclosure in. So I carried on. I thought, well, that's not too bad. It's just the lion enclosure. I can build it and put it in somewhere else, just out of the way, at the back somewhere. That'll be fine. But then when I started looking at the new area, you know, the islands area, where we started off at the beginning of the video, which is this building and a few of the other bits there. We have a toilet block and the shop as you come into the area. As I started looking at these, I realised that these were too close to the edge of the map, and that in order to build the boat station, we would have gone off the edge of the map. So I ummed and ahed about it for a bit, and I took the decision, I'm going to restart the whole game. I'm going to restart the whole Chester Zoo project. So what I've done is I copied all the buildings out from the old map and I've put them in this map. So all the buildings are the same. It's just that it doesn't copy the barriers out. There is a way of doing it, and I know the way of doing it. It just didn't work for me. I needed to do something slightly different because everything was packed together quite densely. And it doesn't copy paths out either, so I had to redo all the paths. Or I still have to redo all the paths, but I'll show you what I've done. Let's have a look at this. This is brilliant. So what I did was, I've got a map of Chester Zoo. And it's an aerial photograph. And what I did was, I got that aerial photograph and I put squares on it. And I therefore had a grid to work off. And what I did was, with this map, I made myself a grid. I've built walls across that whole map to grid it out. And what we've got now is an approximation of where everything is. I can now look on my real map and see that if you can vaguely see a 1 and a 2 and a 3. That's the number of the line that goes down the map. Number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Each one of those is 100 meters apart. On the map I've marked that out in grid lines. They're 100 meters apart. So I've now got this to the same scale as the map. I've also looked on the map and I've more or less drawn all these brown bits here are roughly where the paths go. So if we look around the islands here, there's a path runs along the front of it, there's a path runs round the fountains building, the path then goes round the back here and goes inside, there's one that runs round here, there's also one runs round there. That doesn't connect there. That's not a joining path anymore. It used to be, it isn't anymore. What else? So yeah, so you can see all the paths are on. and they're all pretty much in. I'm a bit vague about the paths around the new area. The other thing you can see is I've put all the water in, which is an approximation of where it's going to go. Again, I marked it out on the map with some light sand colours so that I knew where it was going to be, and I've done that, and they are all now in. So even things like the old water ride is in with that bit, and then the bit to the boathouse, which is tucked away down here, it's all in. So when I was trying to put the buildings in that I previously built, they didn't quite fit exactly as I wanted. Some were a bit larger than they should have been, and some were a bit of a funny shape, but pretty much everything got copied out. So all this area came out as one piece, which was nice. This was nice, one piece up here. That came out as one piece. These two came out together. This was difficult, and will be difficult putting the barriers back in. And the rhinos was difficult. The one thing we're short of is a rhino enclosure here and the warthog enclosure, which goes sort of in here. But we're pretty much there. You can see the paths are missing, so I need to put a lot in. But it's pretty much as it was. So I've got a little bit of work to get back to where we were before. But we're more or less where we were the last time. The things that you haven't seen are the stables block, which isn't finished yet. I've been working on that, and it needs a building on the side and another building round here. And but I am short of photographs for that, and this tower is going to be a nightmare. But that's fairly good there. And then what we've also got is obviously things like the bridges to go in. And that's it, really. You know, it's a case of me going back around all the bits that I've previously done, putting the paths in, and then making sure all the barriers for each of the various enclosures are working again. And then I can restart building. The one thing I have got, which you've not seen before, is my lion enclosure. I always had this, and it was on my other maps. It was built. It was just tucked away around the back somewhere. But there you go. We now have our lion enclosure, which isn't 100% finished. It needs a canopy on the front here. There's a tower around the back just for staff, which actually has a zip wire that they can feed the lions. The interior of the enclosure needs work, but that's pretty much done there. What else needs doing? There's a mound here, and there's another building here as well. But that's pretty much done. Oh, there's a little lake goes in there, hence the light patch. We've got Flag Road in. We've got the butterfly house, although this is all a bit too tight around here. In order to get everything to scale, as I said, some things were a bit smaller than they are in real life. Some were a bit bigger. And I think this was a little bit bigger, and this was a little bit bigger, and it sort of squashed it in the middle. So I need to maybe move the road slightly, and then I can just move this back away from the water. I'm quite happy with how the water is, so I'm not going to change that. But there you go. So that's why there's been no updates for a little while, and also why I haven't really progressed. It's been one step back in order to create a better zoo in the long run, which will be coming very soon. So what I'm doing now is, in the next couple of days, I will be looking back at building all those paths in. I'll probably start that today. It's not very good, is it? I'll probably start that today and putting the barriers in today, tomorrow, and then there's a few other bits I want to do. I want to build the back on the elephant house and things like that. But yeah, there we go. So that's that. So I'm in a better place overall because I've got my grid system. I know roughly where the paths are going, and it's just a case then of catching up to where I was and then restarting. So I will be back very soon with more updates of where I am. There'll be some videos of me building things, and they might be more, instead of me taking ages over the painted dogs, which I did, it went over about 6 or 7 episodes, that area. I think what I'll do for the next one is maybe do a time-lapse thing so it works out a little bit quicker. Oh, look, there's a big hole in the top there that needs looking at. But there you go. So that's it. So that's why one step back in order to go forward in future. So bear with me. It's all coming. It's going to be a little bit of time, that's all. But I think it's looking better overall because we're going to fit it all in now. It'll definitely all fit in. There'll just be a few bits that I haven't got some details for, and I might need to go back to the zoo to take photographs. Unfortunately, the zoo's closed at the moment, so we shall see. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that you're enjoying the build that I'm making. My name's Backblast. I hope to see you very soon.